Caution is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Wingspan. So, if this game has any testament to it, first of all, we need to do a shout out for Elizabeth Hargrave, because as I understand it, this is her very first game, and Stonemaier just, backed it and helped her create it. So, it's a phenomenal game. I think, right, just gonna come out right now and say it. So Elizabeth, keep making games. You did everything top notch, and we'll explain why. Unless Kat doesn't like this game, I think you did everything top notch. But the testament to this game, that I think anyway, is that Kat usually doesn't like to play games anyway. It doesn't like to play any games with me, or push, ask to play any games, and she actually asked if we could play this one again. So I thought that was awesome, and I was like, wow, okay, yeah, that works for me. So let's talk about, there's two things that come out to me about this game. What do you think of the theme?
Oh, I really could not care less about the theme, to be honest with you. The one thing that birds have going for them is that some of them are just super precious looking. However, the vast majority are small, tiny, half dinosaur, half rage machines.
So, I like birds.
Why?
I don't have a reason to hate them. They're detrimental to our ecosystem. All of them, not all of them, that's not true. Most of them are adorable and cool. I would never own one, because I'm not a weirdo, but I don't know, I like birds. There's just something majestic about them. I've always dreamt I could fly. That's not why.
Please, Lord, make me a bird.
But
I can fly far, far away.
What's that from?
Forrest Gump, you little bitch!
Anyway, so the theme of Wingspan, still, the theme does not, great birds.
Right.
It's kind of like the, trees from photosynthesis. It's not a, attention-grabbing theme.
Unless you're into birds.
Unless you're, super into birds. And if you're, an avid bird watcher or bird enthusiast, then I think this game does it justice. Not only do they have these beautiful illustrations
that they got from an actual source, a credible source.
Yeah, no, good point. At the very end of the rulebook, which the rulebook material is phenomenal. Here, just you've held other rulebooks.
Oh.
It just feels
sexy.
Nicer.
Yeah.
But anyway, they gave credit, and did their research. So bird information comes from the All About Birds website from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, the Audubon Guide to the North American Birds, and the Sibley Field Guides to Birds of Eastern North American and Western North American, by David Allen Sibley. Tower Rex designed the bird feeder dice tower. Photographic sources for the birds came from Glenn Bartley, Alan Murphy, Roman T. Bruca, Rob Palmer, and Peter Green. Prints of the birds and other illustrations can be found at the Natalerio Jazard. Sorry, it's on the back of the rulebook.com and AnnaMartinez.com. So they got their research. These are beautifully illustrated birds, that kind of depict what their abilities do, and the little snippet of information about these birds.
If you've ever actually seen a bird watching book, my mom has one because, like I said, she's really into it. Her brother's really into it. So I grew up with a bird watching book in the house, and the art is spot on for how they're animated.
Really?
Or drawn.
Has your mom always been into birds?
My mom has been into birds since I was for as long as I can remember.
I always thought it was recent. So just top notch on the iconography is very simple. Okay, this is how many points they're worth. This is what its nest is. This is how many eggs it can hold. That's pretty much it. And then the things for the resources. That's pretty much it. They didn't try and do iconography for abilities. What the fuck does this mean? They wrote it all out. You have, like I said, beautiful artwork. Which leads into, what do you think of the production value?
I don't know how much this game costs.
This game was like $50.
What?
50 or $60.
Fucking good.
Maybe
deal.
70 with shipping, but
Well, I mean, shipping is a necessary evil.
Yeah,
I would not cost.
I think it was like 55.
Yeah, I would not put shipping into cost because.
Right.
But I would say if it was 55, even if it was 60, I would say, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Because it's not a lot. You know, you don't get like a huge sprawling board or anything, but like quality.
Yeah.
Quality.
Right.
Quality.
The dice, yeah, it's just outstanding. Like, the way this game is produced, and this is the way the board games are now, you would think this came off Kickstarter, and this was like a pledge, and this was all stretch goals. It wasn't. It was actually, weirdly enough, a dying breed of board games. It was produced by the company and released, not through 6 years of Kickstarter. They didn't have to do any of this. They didn't have to make a dice stand that also doubles as the card holder. Not a dice stand, what? A card, this lid pops off and all the cards go in it.
Oh, a tray, okay.
Yeah, and then, dice. Wow. Card tray, and then a card holder for the display. They didn't have to make different colored eggs. These could have been tokens. They didn't have to make a dice tower that's a bird feeder, which is completely adorable. That's easy to put together. Small complaint, it doesn't, it will fit back in the box, but you kind of have to jimmy it, or you have to take it apart. You have to take the bottom part off, but that's it. But anything like that, it'd be nice if you can just, pop it into the thing. They didn't have to give you this deck of birds that we went through this game. That's half the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another full deck of bird cards that are in here. I think it was, I can't remember where it said it, but I think this game has 170 birds in the game. So none of them are doubles. Some of the abilities are doubles. Like we had hummingbirds. The hummingbirds were like, oh, everyone gets a die from the dice tray, and you get to pick. But that doesn't bother me. One, because the birds look different, and they're probably worth different points. Yeah, your hummingbird. No, our hummingbirds were the exact same, but it was a different type of hummingbird. But what I like about them having the same ability is because there are so many, it would kind of suck to play this engine building game, and you're like, well, that would be perfect if I could get that in my engine, but you happen to draw the card, So I don't mind that there's duplicate abilities, because it's only fair to utilize the engine. So that's enough about raving about the quality of this game. Let's see. Is there anything that you don't like about this game? Oh, the artwork on the boards are really cool. What makes this also awesome is that your player board that you're playing on doubles as like a journal, or the back looks like it's like a bird watching journal. So I thought that's nice. Mm-hmm. But do you have any negatives about the game? Because I'm trying to think of some, and I can't really think of any.
I guess it's super, super dumb, but like a small one would be like it really will run away, because the more you put your goals down, all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I only have like 5 actions this time. Like,
oh, you don't like that?
I can just see how it can be a negative.
Huh.
I see it as an extra challenge, but like if we're trying to think of negatives.
Right. If you're really reaching.
Yeah.
Personally, I very much like that mechanic.
Keeps you on your toes.
Well, right, because I mean, it only makes sense that you would be able to do less, because at that point your engine's built, more or less, and you're trying to get more birds and just try and get, especially by the 4th round, you're just trying to get the most points, like get some high-end birds played and utilize the engine from where your birds are giving you. That I think it would be too much if you always had 8 actions by the end of the game. So I like that. I think, like you said, it gives an extra challenge that the game goes on. I like the fact that each round has a round objective that will be different. These are double-sided, so you might not always have this. So not only do you have your main goal to go for, you also have round goals. And this tile is double-sided. The one that we've done is this is the non-competitive side of it, that everyone gets points based on how well they did. The back side is whoever is in first place. Like, oh, hey, whoever had the most birds, I get 4 points, you get 1.
Gotcha.
Like, or, hey, you had more eggs in your hatcheries, great. You know, you get 6 points, I get 3. And then so it goes, there's more competition instead of just, all right, yeah, we all did well. So I like the fact that they give you the option of being passive or, not really aggressive, but more points are to be had, the better you do. So I like that. I mentioned the last time we played, I like the fact how not every egg does something. Like, they're all different colors just for the sake of being different colors. It's not like, oh man, I need a bunch of green eggs.
You get 8 points for having brown eggs in your
Right. It's just, hey, eggs. There you go. Points you get for that. Feathers. Everything is, like this game is so streamlined that the rule book is 11 pages. And in all reality, like, that's probably more than it actually needs to be. Like, I think this game is very, very simple. But it's one of those games that, and Brad and I have talked about this a lot with some games, it's simple to learn, but it has depth to it.
Right,
as well.
Engine building.
Right, so what do you think of the engine building?
I think this is my first time doing an engine builder.
No, you played Terraforming Mars.
Yeah.
Terraforming Mars is an engine builder.
Gotcha.
Basically, that would be probably the one that comes off the top of my head. Is Terraforming Mars, because that's the most popular one right now, and then now everyone's attention is on Wingspan.
Right. I think the engine building is pretty neat because it's not overwhelming. I can see how it easily could be, because you're given a lot of potential with something like that. And I can see how if you get a little too maybe excited in your design when you're making the game, that it can just go kind of haywire where it just spirals out of control and everybody's like, I don't want to fucking listen to your turn because it's so obnoxious. And so people just start to get like irritated with each other. I think that was so simple and sometimes helped everybody else. Sometimes it was like, well, sure could use a fish right now, and you had an engine that would eventually pop off.
Yeah.
And eventually give me a fish. Couldn't rely on it, but
it didn't hurt.
Right.
Like, what makes this game great is it's not cutthroat. So I'm going to compare this to Terraforming Mars because that's probably the most recent, besides this one, engine building game that we've played. In Terraforming Mars, that's a brilliant game as well, and I love it. However, it is a lot of, okay, I'm going to do this, bam, 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 bam. All this stuff is going to trigger. And like you said, it's like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like you were just talking right now, and I'm not interested.
All this stuff benefits me. However, in Wingspan, you have your engine, and how I had originally thought this game was going to be was you do something and then all your birds trigger. But in this one, it's not. You have 3 rows of where your birds can go, the forest, the field, and then the water, and you do each row action, and you do only birds in that row. Only if they're brown birds. So once again, how I mentioned this game is streamlined, is you have essentially 4 types of birds. You have birds that are just pretty much high, a lot of points, and they do nothing. You have, which I still haven't seen any, there's white birds. There they are. Oh, no. There are some wind-played birds, like that they activate when you play them, and that's it. You have your brown birds, which are going to be your engine birds that trigger based on where they're at. You have your pink birds that are once between turns that go off when other people do stuff. And then you have your just the ones that don't do anything, so those are your 4. It's simply color-coded, and so when you look at your turn, you're like, I'm going to get some food. Okay, I'll take these dice, and then you just move your action cube over. Okay, that's not brown. Move. Okay, that one is. Oh, well, whenever I gain a food from the hatch, or from there. And then you just, it's so simple. And a lot of times, other people are engaged with their, like, oh, did you lay eggs? Oh, great, I also get to lay eggs. What I love about this game is there's no, did you lay eggs? Actually, this ability allows me to take those. Or, oh, this actually removes your birds.
Yeah.
Terraforming Mars has fuck you cards in it that completely like, it's almost, they're kind of like there for the sake of being there. Kind of like how Everdell kind of had some of those cards where it's like the majority of the deck is nice and let me build my thing, and then there's like 5 that are like a big middle finger.
Yeah.
This game doesn't have any of that. It's either, okay, this kind of helps me a little bit, and I'm just going to gain points for it, or, I mean, really the only thing you could think of is, okay, well, I really don't want them to get more eggs, so I guess I won't lay eggs, but you have to lay eggs. So it's like, alright, well, I'll gain 3 eggs, and yeah, you can have one. I never once wanted to, like, hurt you throughout this game.
Right.
I was always excited to just play and see what kind of birds I can get. And just be like, oh man, and there were some, you can see some really good combos. Like one of mine, my birds were backwards, and it was like, okay, well, one allowed me to discard a fish to be able to tuck 2 cards. And then the bird literally right next to that gave me a fish, and I'm like, man, it'd be really nice if those were swapped, because then I gain a fish, and I can use that same fish to tuck cards. And then you can just do that over and over and over and over, and just keep tucking and getting a lot of points. So there's, like you said, there's a lot of potential here with these cards, and it's not mean.
Right.
It's not mean at all. This is a very, very wholesome game, and I love the secret objectives. There are birds in here that can give you more, like more secret objective cards. So you're not just kind of hosed on, well, the entire game, because some of them are difficult. Well, I wouldn't say they're difficult. But another thing that I love is they give you a percentage of what, like the one I took, for example, the water one, which I can't find. It was 18% of cards. Out of the whole 170, 18%, which is what? Do math. Do that math off the top of your head.
No.
I mean, let's see. 30 times 0.18. That is 30 cards. 30 total cards that could have given me the fish icon. In all reality, and that's why I took it, because I was like, if I can get 4, then I get 8 points. And that's a lie. I only got 3, so it got me 3 points, so that's a 5-point difference. But, so these aren't like, I like how these aren't like super easy to get, and you're just, okay, well, I guess I just got that. Like, some of them are really, like, you have to work. Like, you actually ended up taking a fish. I would have gotten 4, but you ended up drawing cards, and I'm like, ugh.
You want to take all 3 of the cards?
Yes, and
like,
there was one in there. No, there was one. I don't think it was then. It was whenever the vulture was there, and you took everything but the vulture.
Oh, the ground nesters.
And I was like, well, this is becoming increasingly difficult.
Oh.
Anyway,
should have looked at your percent.
We've only played this as a 2-player game. Yeah. I think this works really well at 2. Yeah. I like it. Like, I don't feel like anything's missing from playing this as a 2-player game.
Right, like we didn't come away being like, ugh, maybe this would be better with...
Yeah, we need like 4 people to make
like, I asked yesterday how many it could play up to, and it was just out of curiosity.
1 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things that, like, the more people you have, that, I mean, you probably have less birds in your thing. Well, no, not even then, because it always refreshes at the end of their turn. So you would just have more competition for the birds that you potentially want.
Things just refresh faster.
Yeah, I mean, but even then, and then actually it'd probably help you, because you would have more people triggering your cards, and then them triggering yours. Yeah. Or you triggering theirs. So, but once again, there's no cutthroat. Like, Terraforming Mars can be pretty cutthroat, trying to draft these cards and play them to, you know, corporate. This. It's just wholesome. This made me like birds. Like, they did a good job. The other thing, that some people might not like, is while I think the abilities of the birds very lightly relate to their snippet of info, which I love how they have the info. I think it's phenomenal. It just brings a little bit more life into the game. There are some things. It is, at its core, a Euro engine builder. So, like, tucking cards is just like, why am I tucking cards? I mean, but if you read the thing, it's like, oh, well, this, like, one of the birds I had was like, it mated. It can mate, like, till it dies or whatever. And that was a tuck card. It's like, oh, okay, it's mating. Some cards, like, allow you to put a whole bunch of eggs down, but that's because its, like, ability was, or its little snippet was, it lays a lot of eggs.
The cowbird lets you put an egg onto a different nest, and it's because the cowbird, that's what it does, is it lays its eggs in a host nest, and then it gets rid of the host eggs.
Yep. The only thing that I can think of is, I can't find it, but I do remember reading this. This game has 170 birds that are around the North America. So what I think could be cool, if they just wanted to support this maybe a little bit more, which I don't think they have to. I think the art illustrations and the amount of cards you get anyway is already top notch. But if something that could be cool is they could do an expansion of a different region. You know, come up with some different, maybe if people wanted to be a little bit more cutthroat or competitive, you can add in some more competitive birds or some cards like that from a different region of the world. Because you have, like I said, most of it I believe was North America. You could do.
I saw some European birds.
Right,
Swallow.
But I think all of them are North American.
The majority of them were North and South.
Yeah, so I think if they could do Asia or Australia. Australia, there's the cutthroat expansion. They just all...
There's your 13-foot bird.
Yeah. So I think they could do stuff like that. Maybe add a little bit more objectives. No, maybe not card objectives, but round objectives. Maybe different variants on how to play. But that's just me just asking for a little bit more because I really like the game. So that's pretty much all I got. You got anything else?
No.
Scale 1 to 10.
Give it a dang old 8.
A dang old 8. I expected that to be higher.
I was thinking 8.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I really like this game. Stonemaier is... It might be my favorite company. I don't think I've played a game by them that I haven't liked. So, Stonemaier is just fantastic. Also, just got to shout out that one of my little cup things came busted, and they replaced it with within like 2 days. So, just top notch quality service, quality game. Everything's phenomenal. Like, I love it. So. That is Wingspan, everyone. Let us know what you think of Wingspan in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.